Well, joining us now from London is the African Affairs Specialist, Ayo Johnson. Thanks for being with us. Can you contextualise the migration patterns within Africa? How much movement is there, and how much do people there rely upon being able to cross borders in search of work?
Well, large numbers of people are desperate. Their economies haven't worked. They've got issues within their countries, and as a matter of survival, large numbers of them across the continent are moving to countries which they think are far more affluent than the ones from which they first came from. And South Africa is one of many countries which are being seen as such, attracting large numbers of people simply because they are a huge magnet, huge potential opportunities are available, and large numbers of people are taken to that country, and similarly so with Nigeria. Yeah.
As Haru pointed out there, to a large extent, the South African government benefits from this globalisation. It can get cheap workers to work on the infrastructure necessary for the World Cup. But to what extent do they actually prepare for that movement of workers, and to what extent do they provide for it? Because they benefit from the cheapness of the labour, but do they actually make sure that the labour is treated properly?
Well, one thing that Zuma had, the problems he's got currently is that he's in a tug of war with the unions. And the unions in South Africa are desperate to ensure that there's fair terms for their workers and there's security for jobs for those South Africans in that country. And the influx of individuals from other parts of the world or other parts of Africa only puts pressure on the South African government. My concern is, more than likely, they would more than likely want to impose draconian measures to curtail the numbers of people coming to their country. And it wouldn't surprise me for us to see that happen very soon. We've seen that large numbers of MPs in that country actually calling for such measures, because it's going to put significant strain on their healthcare systems, significant strain on their other facilities, and the South African government is going through a recession, and they're not in the mood currently to accept an influx of large numbers of people.
I guess in general terms, all over Africa, the number of people looking for work and the amount of work available is not necessarily matched. But is this likely to worsen? Everyone's talking about the global economy picking up a little bit. We're talking a lot about China coming into Africa and providing opportunities. How do you see the future?
Well, the future has got to be optimistic. In the past, we've always heard about brain drain, where individuals leave a particular part of Africa and move to the West. Now, what we're seeing is a movement of people within Africa. It's a new shift in terms of people moving, but a drain nonetheless to those existing countries where they're leaving, because they would need those skilled workers. And in the case of Zimbabwe, for example, they've tried to impose new fiscal policies. Changarai has gone around the world trying to show up and increase the amount of money he can actually use in that country. But clearly those measures are not going to work in the short term. So I think in the long term, hopefully there may be some measures which will improve within those countries, which will enable those individuals not to want to move. But the essence of human beings wanting to move, the need for better for themselves, the need that they want better for their children is a normal human need. And people would always travel, and you can't escape that.
Ayo Johnson in London, thank you. We will take a short break, but still to come. The Baltic Way, commemorations in 3 nations.